You've been waiting. Waiting for someone to notice your struggle. Waiting for the perfect moment. Waiting for some miracle to drop into your lap. But let me tell you something. Waiting is the fastest way to nowhere. No one is coming to pull you out of that rut. No one is going to hand you success on a silver platter. The world isn't pausing for you to catch up. Every second you spend hoping for rescue is another second wasted. The truth is, if you don't take control of your own life, someone else will. And when that happens, you won't like where they take you. Life rewards those who move, those who act, those who refuse to be bystanders in their own story. So what are you going to do? Keep waiting or start moving? Because the longer you stand still, the further behind you fall. It's time to stop hoping and start doing. Life isn't fair. Some people start with more, some with less. But tell me, has complaining about it ever changed anything? You've faced obstacles. You've been dealt a rough hand. That's real. But what you do next is what matters. Because while you're using your struggles as a reason to stay stuck, someone else with the same or worse is using theirs as a reason to fight harder. The truth is, nobody who made it to the top had a smooth ride. They weren't special, they weren't lucky, they just refused to let their struggles become their excuse. They decided their story wasn't going to be about what held them back, it was going to be about what pushed them forward. So ask yourself, are you going to let your struggles define you, or are you going to use them as fuel to rise higher? The choice is yours. There are two types of people in this world, those who take responsibility and those who blame everything but themselves. The first group owns their actions, their failures, and their future. The second, they point fingers. It's always someone else's fault, their upbringing, their circumstances, the people around them. And guess what? Those people stay stuck while the first group keeps moving forward. You have a choice right now. Stay in the mindset that keeps you powerless, or shift into one that gives you control. Because winners don't waste time making excuses. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't sit around feeling sorry for themselves. They take action, adjust, and keep pushing forward no matter what. So which side are you on? The one that watches from the sidelines, or the one that steps up and takes control? Be honest with yourself. How many days, months, or even years have you spent waiting for the right time? How many ideas have you talked yourself out of? How many chances have you let slip by? How many times have you said, I'll start tomorrow? Here's the hard truth. Time isn't waiting for you. Every moment you hesitate, every second you delay is a second you'll never get back. Look around. Successful people aren't the ones who waited for perfect conditions. They're the ones who started before they felt ready. So stop lying to yourself. The perfect time doesn't exist. The only time you have is now. What are you going to do with it? If your life isn't where you want it to be, there's only one person responsible for changing that. You. No more blaming the past, no more pointing fingers, no more waiting for someone to fix it for you. The moment you take full responsibility, everything changes. Because when you own your life, you own your power. You stop hoping for change and start creating it. You stop making excuses and start making progress. So ask yourself, are you ready to stop waiting? Are you ready to step up? Because your future is in your hands, no one else's. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Blaming others feels good in the moment, doesn't it? It takes the pressure off. It gives you a reason, an excuse to stay exactly where you are. But let me tell you something, blame is a prison. The more you point fingers, the tighter the walls close in around you. Think about it. If your problems are always someone else's fault, then you're stuck. You're powerless. You're waiting for someone else to fix things, and guess what? They won't. Real change starts when you stop looking outward and start looking in the mirror. Life isn't about what happens to you, it's about how you respond. The strongest people take ownership even when it's not their fault. They don't waste time crying over what they can't control. They take what they have and they make something out of it. So ask yourself, are you ready to break free from blame? Or will you keep giving away your power? Life isn't fair, it never has been. Some people are born rich, some are born poor. Some have every advantage handed to them, while others have to fight for every inch of progress. But here's what most people don't realize, fairness has nothing to do with success. The world doesn't reward fairness. It rewards results. You can sit around complaining about what you deserve, or you can go out and take it. Because the people who win, they don't waste time waiting for life to be fair. They play the hand they're dealt, and they play it well. Look around. Every successful person you admire had obstacles. They had reasons to quit, but instead of waiting for fairness, they built their own path. So what's it going to be? Keep waiting for life to treat you right, or step up and create your own future? Picture your life as a car. Are you behind the wheel steering toward your goals? Or are you in the backseat letting circumstances drive you wherever they want? Too many people live like passengers. They let fear, doubt, and excuses take control. They let other people's opinions decide where they go, and then years later they wonder why they ended up somewhere they never wanted to be. If you don't like where your life is headed, grab the wheel. Stop letting outside forces dictate your direction. Your dreams, your goals, your success, none of it will happen unless you take control. No more sitting in the backseat. No more waiting for a perfect road. Start driving, even if the road is bumpy, even if you don't have a clear map. Because one thing is certain, if you don't take control now, someone else will. Blame is easy, growth is hard. And that's why so many people stay stuck. They choose easy. But let me tell you something. Every problem you face has two paths. One leads to excuses, the other leads to solutions. Which one are you choosing? The moment you stop looking for people to blame and start looking for ways to move forward, everything changes. Because life is about adjustments, not justifications. Every failure, every setback, it's a lesson. Winners learn, losers complain. So stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what can I do about it? That one shift, just that one simple change can turn your biggest obstacle into your greatest breakthrough. But it starts with a choice. Will you keep blaming or will you start building? The past won't change. The people who hurt you won't undo it. The opportunities you missed, they're gone. So now what? Are you gonna sit there replaying old stories, wishing things were different, or are you finally going to do something about it? Because here's the truth. The only thing that can change is what you do next. Not yesterday, not last year, not what could have been, right now. The people who win in life aren't the ones who had a perfect start. They're the ones who stopped waiting, stopped blaming, stopped hoping for things to get easier. They looked at where they were and started building brick by brick, step by step. No more excuses, no more waiting for life to hand you a break. It's time to build the life you want, starting now. Most people believe their success depends on external factors, luck, timing, or circumstances. They think if they had better opportunities, fewer obstacles, or more support, things would be different. But let me tell you something, the moment you take full responsibility for your life, everything changes. Ownership isn't a burden, it's the key to freedom. Because when you take full responsibility, you stop waiting. You stop depending on things outside of your control. You stop making excuses. Instead, you take action. Think about the most successful people you know. They weren't handed a perfect life. They faced setbacks, rejection, and failure. But they didn't waste time blaming their situation. They took ownership of their future and made things happen. So ask yourself, are you waiting for something to change, or are you willing to take control right now and create the life you want? Because the choice is yours, and it always has been. There are two kinds of people, those who react to life and those who create their own path. Which one are you? Most people spend their lives reacting. They wait for the right time, the perfect conditions, or for someone else to make the first move. And when life throws challenges their way, they crumble, they complain, they let circumstances decide their future. But the people who win, they don't react, they create. They don't wait, they build. They don't let obstacles dictate their path, they find a way through. Look at your own life. Are you reacting to everything around you, letting fear, doubt, and setbacks control your next step? Or are you the one making decisions, taking action, and shaping your own future? It's time to stop reacting and start creating. Because if you don't take control, life will control you. What if, instead of blaming problems on the economy, your boss, or bad luck, you treated every challenge as yours to solve? Winners don't wait for circumstances to change, they adapt, adjust, and overcome. The fastest way to grow is to own every obstacle in your path. Imagine a business owner whose sales are dropping. The weak mindset says it's the market, it's the competition, it's the economy. The strong mindset says it's my responsibility to find a solution. One will keep sinking, the other will rise. The same applies to your life. Stop waiting for the world to make things easier. Instead, ask yourself, what can I do about it? That one question shifts everything. It turns frustration into action, setbacks into lessons, and problems into stepping stones. You don't grow by avoiding problems. You grow by owning them. Look at history. Look at the present. The most successful people didn't have easy lives. They had unshakable ownership. Think about someone like Oprah Winfrey. She wasn't born into wealth. She faced rejection, hardships, and setbacks. But she never blamed her circumstances. She took control. She built a career, a brand, and a life on her own terms. Or take someone like Michael Jordan. He didn't make his high school basketball team. Most people would have quit. But instead of blaming the coach, instead of making excuses, he took responsibility. He worked harder, he came back stronger, and he became one of the greatest athletes of all time. The lesson? Ownership works. Not just for them, but for anyone willing to stop making excuses and start making things happen. So what's stopping you? If it's to be, it's up to me. That one sentence separates the average from the extraordinary. Because the moment you stop expecting someone else to fix your problems and start taking full control, you become unstoppable. No more waiting, no more blaming, no more hoping for things to magically change. You decide what happens next. You decide how you respond. You decide where your life goes from here. Look around. Every person who has built something great did it with this mindset. They didn't have special advantages. They didn't have perfect conditions. They just refused to be a victim. So the question is, are you ready to step up? Are you ready to take ownership? Because the moment you do, that's the moment everything changes. Motivation is like a spark. It's exciting, it's powerful, but it never lasts. Think about it. How many times have you felt motivated to start something? A new workout, a new goal, a new routine, only to lose that fire within days or weeks? That's because motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. If you rely on it, you'll never be consistent. The people who succeed in life don't wait to feel inspired. They don't depend on motivation to get them moving. They show up. They do the work no matter how they feel. The real key to success, self-discipline. Discipline keeps you going when motivation fades. It keeps you moving when you don't feel like it. It separates those who dream from those who do. So ask yourself, are you still waiting to feel motivated? Or are you ready to take control and show up no matter what? Success isn't built on big, dramatic efforts. It's built on small, daily habits that add up over time. Look at the most successful people. They don't rely on bursts of motivation. They've built habits that make success automatic. They wake up early. They train their minds. They put in the work, whether they feel like it or not. Imagine if every important action in your life became as natural as brushing your teeth. That's the power of habits. When you train yourself to take the right actions every day, you eliminate the need for motivation. You don't have to think about it, you just do it. So stop looking for shortcuts, stop waiting for inspiration. Focus on building habits that make success inevitable, because once you do that, you won't need motivation. You'll already be moving forward. Think about physical strength. If you go to the gym once a month, will you get stronger? No. Strength comes from consistent training, from pushing through discomfort, from showing up even when you don't feel like it. Discipline works the same way. It's a muscle. And every time you push past resistance, every time you do what needs to be done instead of what's easy, you make that muscle stronger. Successful people don't have superhuman willpower. They've just trained their discipline like a muscle. They've built the habit of doing hard things over and over until it becomes second nature. So here's the question. Are you training your discipline daily, or are you letting it weaken? Because the stronger your discipline, the less you'll depend on motivation and the more unstoppable you'll become. How many times have you told yourself, I'll start when I feel ready? How many opportunities have you let pass because you were waiting for the right mood? Let me tell you something. Winners don't wait for the perfect mood. They don't wait for the right energy. They don't wait to feel like it. They get up, they take action, and they do the work regardless of how they feel. Because feelings are unreliable. If you let your emotions decide your actions, you'll stay stuck. Some days you won't want to show up. Some days you'll feel tired, discouraged, or distracted. But those are the days that matter the most. Success isn't about feeling ready. It's about taking action no matter what. So stop waiting, stop thinking about it, just get it done. Laziness isn't who you are. Procrastination isn't some lifelong curse. They're just habits. And like any habit, they can be broken. The problem? Too many people negotiate with themselves. They wait until they feel like it. They tell themselves they'll start later. And before they know it, days, weeks, even years have passed. The solution is simple. Stop making excuses. Stop giving yourself options. Start taking action now. Every time you choose action over hesitation, you weaken the habit of procrastination. Every time you push through laziness, you build momentum. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. So make a decision right now. Are you gonna keep waiting, or are you gonna take control and start moving? Because the only way to win is to start today. If you're always comfortable, you're not growing. It's easy to stay where things feel safe, where there's no risk of failure, no challenge to overcome, but nothing great ever comes from staying the same. Every breakthrough, every moment of real growth comes from stepping beyond what feels familiar. Look at anyone who has built something meaningful, whether it's a successful business, a strong body, or a powerful mindset. None of them got there by staying in their comfort zone. They pushed themselves, they took risks, they faced challenges head on even when it was uncomfortable. So ask yourself, are you stuck in a place that feels safe but keeps you small? Are you holding back because stepping forward feels too risky? Growth doesn't come from waiting, it comes from movement. The question is, are you ready to break free from the limits you've set for yourself? Success isn't handed out. It's earned through discomfort, through persistence, through struggle. Look at the people who achieve real success. They aren't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who went through the fire and came out stronger. They're the ones who failed, got back up, and kept moving forward. Struggle isn't the enemy, it's the test. It's the proving ground. It separates those who want success from those who are willing to work for it. The truth is, if you're avoiding struggle, you're also avoiding growth. If you're avoiding discomfort, you're also avoiding progress. So, next time things get hard, remember this. That's the moment where most people quit. That's the moment where success is decided. Are you going to be the person who backs down, or the person who pushes through? Fear is natural, struggle is inevitable. But how you respond to them determines everything. Some people let discomfort stop them. They feel the fear, the frustration, the exhaustion, and they run. They step back into what feels safe. But others, they take that same discomfort and use it to push forward. Think about it. Every single time you've grown mentally, physically, or emotionally, it came from facing something difficult. You got better because you struggled. You got stronger because you endured. So the real question is, are you running from discomfort, or are you using it as fuel? Because growth isn't comfortable. It's tough, it's frustrating, it's painful. But every time you push through it, you get better, you get stronger. You get closer to the life you want. Your mind is wired to seek comfort. It wants to protect you from difficulty. It wants to keep you safe. But here's the truth. Safe doesn't get you anywhere. You can reprogram yourself to see discomfort as an opportunity, not a threat. The more you expose yourself to challenge, the stronger you become. The more you push through hard things, the easier they get. Think of it like training a muscle. At first, lifting heavy weight feels impossible, but over time, with effort, your body adapts, it gets stronger. And suddenly, what once seemed impossible becomes normal. Your brain works the same way. When you train yourself to face discomfort head on, to take on challenges instead of avoiding them, you build a mindset that can handle anything. So instead of running from the hard stuff, lean into it. Because every challenge you take on makes you tougher, sharper, and better than before. Taking the easy way out feels good now, but it leads to regret later. Every shortcut, every excuse, every moment of avoidance only makes life harder in the long run. If you avoid discipline now, you'll face consequences later. If you avoid the work today, you'll struggle even more tomorrow. The easy route, it's a trap. It tricks you into thinking you're making life simpler when in reality you're setting yourself up for struggle down the road. But the hard path, that's the one that pays off. It's the one that builds strength, resilience, and success. It's the path that leads to freedom, the kind of freedom that only comes from doing the work, from taking the hits, from refusing to quit. So ask yourself, are you taking the easy way out now only to suffer later? Or are you willing to put in the work today to create a life that's stronger, better, and truly yours? If you're waiting for permission to chase your goals, you'll be waiting forever. Too many people hold themselves back because they're afraid of what others might think. They want approval before they take action. They want reassurance before they make a move. But let me tell you something. Success isn't about being liked. It's about getting results. Every time you seek validation, you give away your power. You let someone else decide if your dreams are worthy. And while you're waiting, opportunities pass, doors close, and time slips away. The people who succeed, they don't ask for permission. They don't wait for a round of applause. They take action, they make mistakes, they learn, adjust, and keep moving forward, whether people approve or not. So stop looking for validation. Stop waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to go after what you want. The only person who can give you permission is you. People love a good success story. They see the big win, the breakthrough, the moment someone makes it, but they never see what came before. Behind every overnight success are years of effort. Sleepless nights, relentless work, failures that no one talks about. People only see the final product, but they have no idea what it took to get there. And here's the mistake most people make. They focus on impressing others instead of doing the work. They chase recognition instead of mastery. They want quick results instead of steady progress. But the truth is, if you're focused on looking successful instead of becoming successful, you'll never get there. So stop worrying about who's watching, stop expecting quick wins, do the work, stay consistent. Because when success finally comes, it won't be overnight. It'll be the result of everything you did when no one was paying attention. No one claps when you're grinding in silence. No one celebrates the early mornings, the sacrifices, the failures, but they'll all admire the results once you succeed. Success is like a tree. It starts as a tiny seed, something no one notices, something easy to overlook. But when you water it daily, when you keep feeding it, it starts to grow. Slowly, silently, and then one day that seed turns into something undeniable, something massive, something that people can't ignore. And that's when the applause comes. But here's the catch, most people never make it to that point. They get discouraged when no one notices their hard work. They stop showing up because they don't see immediate results. They quit before the roots even have a chance to take hold. Don't be that person. Keep working, keep watering your seed. Because the ones who keep going, even in silence, are the ones who eventually stand tall. Let me ask you something. What's more important, your dreams or their opinion? Too many people live their lives trying to impress others. They hold back because they're afraid of judgment. They hesitate because they don't want to be laughed at, criticized, or doubted. But here's the truth. Other people's opinions won't pay your bills, they won't build your success, and they won't change your life. You can spend years trying to please people only to realize they were never paying attention in the first place. Or you can decide right now that the only thing that matters is what you want and whether you're willing to go after it. Because in the end, the people who doubted you, they won't matter. The ones who laughed, they'll be silent. And the only regret you'll have is not starting sooner. So stop caring, start doing. You don't need applause, you don't need permission. What you need is discipline. What you need is action. Look at the people who've built something great. They weren't waiting for approval. They weren't seeking validation. They were too busy putting in the work. If you want success, stop looking around for someone to tell you you're good enough. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop hoping for recognition. None of that matters. What matters is what you do, the actions you take, the results you create. So let them doubt you, let them question you, just keep moving, keep building, keep proving yourself, not with words, but with results. Because in the end, success speaks for itself. How many times have you told yourself, I'll start when I'm ready? How many opportunities have you watched pass by because you were waiting for the right conditions, the right timing, the right feeling? Let me tell you something, the perfect moment doesn't exist. It never has, it never will. If you keep waiting until everything lines up perfectly, you'll be waiting forever. Success doesn't come to those who sit back and hope for the right time. It comes to those who take action, even when they're unsure, even when they're scared, even when they feel completely unprepared. Think about the people who have built something great. They didn't start because they had everything figured out. They started because they knew that waiting wouldn't get them anywhere. So stop telling yourself you need more time. Stop convincing yourself that you're not ready, because readiness doesn't come before action. Between those who succeed and those who don't. It's a harsh difference between those who succeed and those who don't. But if you take the uninvited, winners don't wait for motivation. They don't sit around hoping for the perfect conditions. They move forward even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's inconvenient. Losers, they overthink. They hesitate, they find every reason to delay. I'm too tired, I don't have enough experience, I'll start next week, and before they know it, weeks turn into months, months turn into years, and they're still stuck in the same place. So ask yourself, are you acting or are you making excuses? Because every time you put something off, every time you tell yourself not yet, you're making a choice. And that choice is costing you your future. Be honest. How long have you been telling yourself you'll start soon? How many times have you said tomorrow only to push it back again? If you don't take action today, what makes you think you'll do it tomorrow? Time isn't waiting for you. Every day that passes is a day you can't get back. Every moment you hesitate is another step further from your goals, and the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to start. So let me ask you, how much longer are you willing to let fear control you? How many more days, months, or years are you going to let slip away before you finally decide to move? Because here's the truth. There will never be a perfect time. There will never be a moment when you feel completely ready. The only time you have is now. Too many people think success comes from one big life-changing move, but that's not how it works. Massive change doesn't happen overnight. It happens through small, consistent steps. The people who win aren't the ones who wait for the perfect plan. They're the ones who take messy, imperfect action day after day until those small steps add up to something big. Stop obsessing over getting everything right. Stop telling yourself you need to have all the answers before you begin, because perfection is just another excuse for delay. Instead, focus on progress. One step today, another tomorrow, even if it's small, even if it's slow, even if it feels insignificant, keep moving. Because action, no matter how imperfect, is always better than standing still. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't need to be the luckiest. You don't even need to feel ready. You just need to take action. Look at someone like Oprah Winfrey. She didn't start with wealth or connections. She didn't wait for the perfect time to build her career. She started where she was with what she had and figured it out along the way. Or take someone like Elon Musk. He wasn't born with all the knowledge to build companies like Tesla or SpaceX. He learned by doing it. He failed, adjusted, and kept moving forward. What do they all have in common? They didn't wait. They didn't make excuses. They took action before they felt ready. So stop thinking you need everything figured out before you start. The only way to win is to do. Because in the end, the people who take action, no matter how messy, no matter how uncertain, are the ones who succeed. Every major transformation starts with a single decision. Not a wish, not a hope, not a vague idea of one day, a real solid decision. The moment you decide fully, completely to change your life, everything shifts. Think about it. Every person who has built something great started with a single decision. The decision to start the business, to leave the bad relationship, to take their health seriously. And once they made that decision, there was no turning back. Success isn't about waiting for the right time. It's not about waiting until you feel ready. It's about deciding right now that things will be different. So what's holding you back? Fear? Doubt? The thought of failing? None of that matters until you make a decision. Because once you do, everything that felt impossible before suddenly becomes a challenge you're ready to take on. The question is, are you ready to decide? Hesitation is the enemy. Every time you stall, delay, or second guess yourself, you lose ground. You lose momentum. And the longer you stay stuck in indecision, the harder it becomes to move forward. Look around. How many people do you know who always say, I'll do it later? How many people spend their lives waiting for the perfect moment that never comes? That's what indecision does. It steals time, it kills progress, it keeps you trapped in the same cycle over and over again. Winners don't hesitate. They don't stand at the crossroads debating every possibility until they're too exhausted to move. They commit. They make a decision and adjust as they go. No more half steps, no more maybe later. So here's the real question. How much longer are you willing to let hesitation control your life? A plane off by just 1 degree will land miles away from its destination. Think about that. A small shift, barely noticeable at first, leads to a completely different outcome. And the same is true for your life. Every choice you make today, no matter how small, shapes your future. Hitting snooze or getting up on time. Reading a book or scrolling through your phone. Taking action or making another excuse. Every decision, every habit, every moment you choose one path over another, you are steering your life in a direction. So are you steering towards success or drifting off course? Are you making small choices that move you forward, or are you slowly, silently setting yourself up for regret? Because the truth is, there is no standing still. You're either getting better or you're falling behind. Which way are you headed? Deciding isn't enough. You must commit. You must cut off every escape route. Burn the bridges to your excuses. Stop negotiating with yourself. Because the moment you leave yourself an out, you've already lost. The people who succeed in life aren't the ones who try, they're the ones who commit. Fully, completely, with no turning back. Think about an athlete training for the Olympics. Do they wake up and ask themselves if they feel like practicing? No. They train, they show up. They don't entertain the idea of quitting. That's the level of commitment it takes to reach your full potential. So ask yourself, are you halfway in, halfway out? Or are you ready to commit fully? To push forward with no more doubt, no more hesitation, only action and results. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to do the work for you. No one is going to hand you success. The only way forward is to take responsibility, take action, and make a move right now. How many times have you told yourself tomorrow? How many opportunities have you watched slip away because you waited too long? Enough. The time for waiting is over. The time for hoping, hesitating, and making excuses is over. The only time you have is now. So will today be the day you finally decide? Will today be the day you stop waiting and start moving? Because in the end, there are only two types of people. Those who watch life happen and those who make life happen. Which one are you? Your future isn't determined by luck, timing, or circumstances. It's shaped by your decisions. The life you want is possible, but only if you stop waiting and start acting. Every excuse, every delay, every hesitation is keeping you stuck. You don't need permission, you don't need a perfect plan. You just need to move. Because the truth is, the only thing standing between you and success is action. Will you take it? This is your defining moment. Will you keep repeating the same patterns, expecting different results? Will you keep telling yourself someday while watching time slip away? Or will you finally step up and take ownership? Change doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you decide you're done settling. When you decide to stop wishing and start doing. So what's it gonna be? Keep waiting or start moving? The world doesn't care about what you meant to do. It doesn't reward intentions, it rewards results. Every step forward, no matter how small, brings you closer to success. Every action, no matter how imperfect, moves you ahead. But waiting, wishing, overthinking, they lead nowhere. If you want results, stop making excuses and start making moves. No one is going to do this for you. No one is coming to hand you success. And that's the best news you'll ever hear, because it means your future is entirely in your hands. No waiting, no permission, no excuses. Just you and the choices you make. You have the power. Now go take it.